Hey Crestwood, happy first day of spring to you. Yay, so exciting. We made it through winter, and I'm sure there will never be any temperature below 50 degrees from this point forward. So that is a guarantee, which you absolutely do not have to take to the bank, because I'm sure it's not true. But anyway, that's my hope, and that's what I'm praying for. I'm ready for warm weather and certainly ready for the beginning of spring and all that that means for us. And I'm honored to bring you this devotional for this Wednesday, March 20th. So been thinking a lot about what it means for us to live out our faith in ways that make a difference. So we concluded a book study that we've been doing during Lent on Monday night. And the book was called The Sum of Us, a book by Heather McGhee. Actually, I've got it right here. I'll show it to you. Book by Heather McGhee, and talks about what racism costs everyone and how we can prosper together. Fascinating book, very eye-opening, very convicting and humbling to read how racism has impacted not just people of color, but impacted white people down through the years through policies and business decisions and those sorts of things. We had about probably 10 to 12 people as a part of that discussion. And interestingly, we had a couple of people who didn't participate because they said, I don't want to just be in a group of white people sitting around talking about racism and not doing anything about it. And I think that's a very fair criticism of what we were doing with the book study. But the last 2 weeks, we did have a person of color join us. 2 weeks ago, Jeremy Gillette, who had preached for us back in the fall, came to talk about his experiences. And then this past Monday, Don Gillette, his dad and our regional minister here in Kentucky, came to talk about what he experiences as an African-American man in leadership and ministry, and just how he views the church's role in this. At the end of that book study, I said to him, Don, what are your parting words for us? What do you want us to know as we get ready to leave this place? And he got quiet and he just said, don't leave this here. Don't leave what you've talked about and the passion you feel and the conviction you feel to change things. Don't leave that in this room. Go do something about it. And I thought that was a great statement. And yet, what do? How do we even begin to do that? And so Micah 6:8 has been running through my mind ever since that discussion. What does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. The love kindness, I think we do our best to be good people, walk humbly with our God. We try our best to do that. But the do justice part, that's the one that convicts me, because I don't know if I'm doing enough in that area to do justice. And so I'm trying to think about, what does this look like for Crestwood moving forward? What does this look like as we seek to live out our faith in these kind of ways? Back when I got here in 2009, we had something called the Shalom Social Justice Ministry Team. And their job was to do these things, was to seek God's shalom, God's peace in our community. And the social justice part was to live that out in ways that can have a tangible difference for people who really struggle with justice and being treated justly in our communities. And I wonder if it's not time to resurrect that team. I wonder if it's not time to invite people who are interested and passionate about working on issues of social justice to come together and figure out, how do we not just talk about these things, but how do we live them out? How do we leverage our power? How do we leverage our privilege? How do we leverage our resources to help make a difference for people who don't have a seat at the table, who don't have a voice, who have been marginalized and mistreated? We have the power to do that. And Don's word's going to continue to ring in my ears. Don't leave this here. Don't just have a conversation about racism. Talk about, boy, this is a really horrible thing, and we should probably do something about it. And then you go off and you don't do anything about it. What can we do about it? What can we do about the injustice we see in our communities, in our country, in our world? I think that's a worthy conversation to have, and the conversation then is a starting point for action, to do justice as God calls us to do in Micah 6. If you would be interested in being a part of a Shalom social justice team, let me know. I want to compile a list of people and see if I can call us together, and let's sit down and begin to think about and talk about and dream about, how can we live out our faith in ways that honor our call to do justice in this world? We have the power to do that. We have the passion to do that. We just need to know what that next step looks like. And hopefully that's something that we can figure out together. And the beauty of Crestwood is, if this is something that doesn't interest you, you don't have to participate, right? We all live out our faith in different ways. And so some people choose to live it out one way, some people choose to live it out another. This is one way that we can live out this call to do justice in this world, to continue to love kindness, to continue to walk humbly with our God. I know I was convicted by Heather McGee's book. I was convicted by Jeremy's words. I was convicted by Don's words of what are we doing to make a difference in a way that affects everybody, not just people of color, but everybody who needs to know God's love and God's call for justice in this world. We can do that together, Crestwood, and I invite you to be a part of that if you'd like. Just let me know, and we will move forward from there. But remember, when we read things that concern us, when we read things that we know go against God's will and God's kingdom in this world, let Don's question sit with you. Don't leave it here. Let's do something about it. God bless you, Crestwood.